Fearscape Media Network, exploring the unknown, one podcast at a time.
There are phenomena that exist all around us. Kids playing above something unknown flies over and disappears. People driving at night, seeing huge creatures cross the road. People waking up to find their cabinet doors ripped open in their kitchen. Strange things happen every day around the world and seemingly at the same time and area. But are these occurrences connected? This is what we are here to explore and are trying to understand.
Join us on our journey
to uncover what we call the Convergence Enigma.
Every week on the Fearscape Media Network.
Ghosts in the Attics, Bodies in the Basements may contain graphic, violent, vulgar, or explicit content not suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Hey, listeners. Welcome back to Ghosts in the Attics, Bodies in the Basement. I'm Anna.
And I'm Lindsey, and come on in for another episode of Fucked Up and Frightful. Did I get the name right this time?
Yes, actually. We finally remembered it. Woo!
I don't know why I can't remember it.
If you missed our last full episode, we picked New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're from New Jersey and we covered something that you were sick of hearing about, we are super sorry.
but also we're not.
Yeah, because it's interesting still. So,
and we're not from New Jersey.
We're not. Although Kevin Smith is, and I want to go to there.
So is Gerard Way. And can I just say, when we drew New Jersey out of the vase, and I mentioned Gerard Way like 2 times that night, My Chemical Romance released a song for the first time in like 12 years.
Right.
So you're welcome, is what I'm saying.
She manifested that shit. So we don't really have any housekeeping, except we missed an episode because life is nuts at the end of the school year. If you don't have children, be grateful that you don't know that chaos. If you do have children, you understand exactly what we're talking about. It's just nonstop awards assemblies, and you gotta half days or they're missing days. It's just weird. I don't know.
And it's like, while the school year's winding down, everything is also winding up with all the end of the year celebrations.
And then the excitement for summer break and the lack of motivation to get the fuck out of bed every day. And that's not even just for the kids. It also goes for me.
Oh, my kids are currently sleeping. We're recording in the morning.
My son and his playmate just woke up. If you hear any children in the background on my side, just know I told them to be quiet. That doesn't mean they listen, but I told them to be quiet.
And all of you parents know the struggle of the kids being home for the summer. While it's great to not have to run to drop off and pick up and bus stops and all that, there's noise. A lot of it.
I got a new job, so that's pretty cool. Start it tomorrow. What? Actually, it'll be not tomorrow when you hear this, but it's tomorrow for me. So I'm pretty excited. Because when you hear it, tomorrow will be Saturday, and that would be a weird time to start a job.
Right, yeah.
They
I guess
typically
unless it
don't
was like a
start you.
restaurant or something.
Yeah, but even when I worked in restaurants, they didn't start me like they usually started me on like Wednesdays
Oh,
when it was
interesting.
a little slower, so you actually had a chance to learn.
I can't remember what day of the week I started any job.
Yeah. But without further ado, Lindsay, tell me something frightful.
All right. Well, I think it's pretty clear when you pick New Jersey, you have to go with the Jersey Devil. And listen, hear me out, because I'm sure all you people in Jersey, maybe there's some like Jersey Devil, what would the word be, aficionados, who are
Yeah.
like, finally, yes, cover this. But then a lot of y'all are probably like, ugh, of course. And I tried to look up other things. I tried to look up hauntings and stuff, and my brain was just like, no, Jersey Devil. So here we are. So get over it. But so get my notes. Cut that out. All right. So the Jersey Devil is also known as the Leeds Devil, and it originates in the Pine Barrens Forest of New Jersey. It is said that in the 1700s, the Leeds family found out they'd be having another child, and Mother Leeds was angry because it would be her 13th child. And I don't know if she was angry because of the superstition around the number 13 or because she was pregnant again, because I mean, same.
That's a
I
lot
would
of
be
children.
pissed if I was pregnant with my 13th
Yeah. A
child.
lot of children.
And so apparently she cursed the child that she was pregnant with, saying that it would be the devil. So, way to go. She went into labor on a stormy night, and when the baby came out, it was completely normal, but then transformed into a creature with a goat's head, a forked tail, and hooves. It growled and screamed and beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and off into the woods.
I mean, that just sounds like a newborn to me, minus the goat head and stuff.
Imagine that's what happened.
They just scream a lot and they
beat
like
you with their tails and fly out the chimneys.
listen.
I have
Thankfully,
3 kids, I know.
thankfully, most people don't have tails anymore. I'm sure someone still does, but you know, evolution has kind of stopped that, thankfully. But maybe back in the day, it was pretty common for them to beat them with their tails. I don't know.
Right? We don't know what humans were like in the 1700s.
I don't know what humans were like today. I mean, people wear masks constantly, so you can't really tell what anyone is
What's
anyway.
under that mask? Is it a goat head?
Dun dun dun.
The Jersey Devil is often described as a flying biped with hooves. There are some variations, but the most common description is kangaroo-like or wyvern-like, and I don't know if I said that right, but I had to Google that because Wikipedia just threw that out there. Apparently, that is like a 2-legged dragon.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it usually has a horse or a goat head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail. It can move very quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream, which is just
Delightful.
great to hear in the night while you're near woods.
Well, I mean, if TikTok has taught us anything, you heard nothing, you saw nothing.
Y'all can't see my face. I was nodding with my eyes wide in agreement. I sometimes forget that y'all can't see me.
Same.
And while many believe that the Jersey Devil is just a folktale ghost story, which I mean, born on a dark and stormy night, like, yeah, I get it, right? There are many alleged sightings, including Commodore Stephen Decatur, who is said to have seen the creature flying above while going into Hanover Mill Works to inspect some cannonballs he was having forged. And the legend said that he shot a cannonball right at it to no avail. Which, I mean, cannonballs are pretty slow, right?
I don't know.
Loading
but also,
and shooting it. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure
loading and shooting.
cannonball
Yeah.
flying across is pretty fast.
I don't know how accurate you can be with a cannonball either.
Right. And we all know the Jersey Devil can fly.
Right.
Whether it's an actual devil or some other winged creature. Yeah, I could see him missing and it not being like crazy. Another famous alleged sighting was the older brother of Napoleon Bonaparte, Joseph Bonaparte. He is said to have seen the Jersey Devil while he was hunting at the Borderton, I don't know, estate around 1820. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
The Jersey Devil was blamed for many livestock killings from around 1840 and 1841. And there was even reports of seeing tracks and hearing screams, which I feel like a lot of cryptids are to blame for livestock going missing or dying.
Yeah, them and aliens.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, cows getting abducted. It's like the stereotype picture, right?
Right.
In the tractor beam.
Although if you go to our merch shop, there's a cool little image of us getting abducted.
I'm not sure if it still is, but it was the cover photo on our Facebook page.
I think we tried to change that,
We
but
tried to
Facebook
change it.
hates
I don't
us.
know if it's actually changed or
It
not.
might still be there.
Go look and find out. We don't know how to work Facebook.
Okay. To an extent, yes, that's true. But also Facebook on your phone app versus Facebook on a desktop, it gives you different options, I found out. So that was annoying.
Because when I made it, the alien picture we're describing, I did it like you do on your personal Facebook. Because let me be real. When I say we don't know how to work Facebook, we don't know how to work pages.
Yeah.
Like the Facebook pages. Like it's a whole different ballgame and it changes constantly. I don't know how to do any of it. But so yeah, I don't know what our cover photo is right now. I'm gonna go look, actually. This is a big sidebar. Where's our
Welcome
page?
to our show where we get distracted easily, even though I took my ADD medicine this morning.
We all know I'm unmedicated and undiagnosed, so you get it. Our cover photo is still the alien abduction picture.
Nice.
Our profile picture changed, though. So we
Yes.
got something to upload.
That only took me
Anyway.
like forever. Sorry.
It's very complicated. If you all don't have like a Facebook page, like count your blessings.
So the Jersey Devil?
Yes, the Jersey Devil. So there was actually a string of sightings in the week of January 16th through the 23rd in 1909. And newspapers were publishing claims that there had been hundreds of sightings of the Jersey Devil all over New Jersey, as well as Philadelphia, which I had to look on Google Maps because I don't know New England very well.
Yeah.
And so I always get confused when things that in my brain don't sound like they're right next to each other. Southern New Jersey and Philadelphia are like right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to look that up. So feel free to laugh. But in one report, a creature allegedly attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights and a social club in Camden. Police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania, supposedly fired on the creature to no effect. Other reports initially concerned unidentified footprints in the snow, but soon sightings of creatures resembling the Jersey Devil were being reported throughout South Jersey and as far away as Delaware and western Maryland.
Damn.
The widespread newspaper coverage created fear throughout the Delaware Valley, yeah, I bet, prompting a number of schools to close and workers to stay home.
Fuck.
Vigilante groups and groups of hunters roamed the pines and countrysides in search of the devil.
With
During this period,
pitchforks and
probably. We're cannons if we're like Mr. I forgot his name, Decatur.
yeah.
During this period, it is rumored that the Philadelphia Zoo posted a $10,000 reward for the creature.
Damn.
The offer prompted a variety of hoaxes, including a kangaroo equipped with artificial claws and bat wings.
That's terrifying.
Where'd they get a kangaroo?
I don't
In
know.
1909.
I don't know. That's so bizarre.
Maybe from the zoo.
Maybe.
I don't know how expansive zoos were back in the early 1900s.
I don't know. Maybe they had a kangaroo.
That was then kidnapped and equipped with artificial claws and bat wings. Kangaroos are scary, though.
They're fucking terrifying.
So they were brave doing that to a kangaroo.
Yeah.
They would have got their ass beat.
Kangaroos are like boxers, man. Like,
Have you ever seen
not
like
the
the
dog,
videos?
like the
Like boxers, like in
professor.
the ring,
Yeah.
punching. Like, have you ever seen videos of wild kangaroos in neighborhood streets just like boxing it out? It's terrifying. Australia, are you guys okay?
Right?
Everything in Australia will kill you, including the cute-looking kangaroos.
Yep.
I pet a baby kangaroo once. It was nice, but it was a baby.
Yeah.
So, the Jersey Devil. They also say, like, as far as like the hoax of like the kangaroo and stuff, they also say that some of the footprints that they were saying like were tracks of like the cloven hooves were actually horses' hooves, which makes sense because they said it was in snow and you can't always tell what it is in the snow, you know?
Yeah.
It starts melting and whatnot. And later, Gordon Stein from the Encyclopedia of Hoaxes said that a man admitted he had faked some of the footprints. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what came first, chicken or the egg? Like, what came first, the newspaper articles creating fear or the hoaxes creating the newspaper articles creating fear?
Right.
Like, who knows? Well, I guess somebody probably knows, but we don't know them. So Jeff Tibbles and the world's greatest hoaxes claim that Norman Jeffries was involved in the hoaxing of the Jersey Devil, which Norman Jeffries, publicist for Philadelphia's Arch Street Museum and renowned hoaxer, was well aware of the stories about the Jersey Devil. So when the museum proprietor, T.F. Hawkins, admitted that it was in danger of closure unless Jeffries came up with something to boost attendance, the publicist decided that a captive Jersey Devil would be the ideal crowd puller. I said that weird.
That's just nuts. Like, to come up with elaborate hoaxes, like, I don't have that kind of patience.
Well, I mean, back then, you could argue it was easier.
Back in the day, it's probably easier to pull off a hoax, but...
Because, like, yeah, we have technology now where you can, like, edit videos and stuff like that, but back then, there's no way to have proof one way or the other. Other than,
True.
I heard a blood-curdling scream and look at that footprint over there in the snow.
Yep.
A lot easier to pull something off like that. It says that Norman Jeffries planted non-fictional newspaper stories about new sightings of the devil. During 1909, Jeffrey was with his friend Jacob Hope, an animal trainer. Oh, he's the one. Okay. Purchased a kangaroo from a circus and glued artificial claws and bat wings to it. So Norman Jeffries is the one who did the kangaroo hoax.
Oh.
20 years later, he admitted to it. They did, like, say that they captured it and was going to display it in the museum.
Damn.
So, that's very interesting. I should really read ahead of my notes. And then other sightings were in 1925, a farmer in Greenwich claimed to have shot some creature who was killing his chickens. He didn't know what it was, took a photograph of it, of the body, and then claimed that none of the 100 people he showed it to knew what it was.
Weird.
Also, call me ignorant, but I'm just shocked that in 1925 some farmer had a camera.
Yeah, no shit. As I think they were, like, really not commonplace back then.
That's what I thought. But apparently...
I mean, they weren't in your pocket like they are today.
Right. And then in 1951, a group of boys from Gibbstown, New Jersey, claimed that they saw a monster that matched the description of the Jersey Devil. In 1960, there were tracks found and noises heard around Mays Landing that people claimed were the Jersey Devil. That same year, merchants around Camden offered a $10,000 reward for anyone who would capture the creature, even saying that they'd put it in a private zoo. I'm guessing they got inspiration from the Philadelphia Zoo on that one.
Yeah.
And so... And it seems, at least on the Wikipedia page, the sightings stop in 1960. And I tried to look on TikTok, and it was mostly just people talking about the Jersey Devil. There was one video that was like, oh my god, what is this? Is this a Jersey Devil? And it was like a white deer.
Oh.
But, so I admittedly did not dig super deep, but did not find anything about more recent sightings. So you all in New Jersey and the surrounding areas will have to let us know if you or anyone you know have ever had a Jersey Devil sighting. But yeah, that's it. And what do you think? Do you think it's real, or do you think it is just an elaborate hoax?
I mean, if it was real and there was only one of them, I don't know that any creature, cryptid or not, could live for over 100 years without having something to reproduce with and make more of. So, I mean, maybe it was real and it just died.
Here's my thoughts on it, because they're saying there were hundreds of sightings in several states. One would assume it wasn't just one creature flying all over. It seems like there'd be multiple of them. And so if it is real, I don't think it started out. I know that there was actually a historical Leeds family that there's a couple of different people with the last name Leeds from the area that people think maybe the story is about.
Right.
But I would say the origin story is probably made up. Very urban legendy with the dark and stormy night, blah, blah, blah.
I'm just surprised they didn't give it the last name Smith.
Why?
Because it's so common. Does that make sense?
My maiden name is Smith, listeners. That's why I got offended there.
No, but I'm just saying, like, because Smith is so common.
Yeah, they
would have never been able to track it down.
So I don't think the origin story would be real, regardless of the existence of the Jersey Devil. However, I just have to wonder, like, how are there more? How does it span so long? Like you said, just then you get into the theory of cryptids in general, of them being interdimensional beings, and that's why we don't always see them.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a rabbit hole. We could go on and on forever
about cryptids, which is what this podcast is about.
Right.
Partly.
My general belief in regards to any cryptid, and I would loop the Jersey Devil in with it, is that maybe it does exist. Can't discount it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there was a bunch of hoaxes, but there's Bigfoot hoaxes too. And there's alien hoaxes too.
Yeah, people make crop circles with like man-made materials, and then you know, the real crop circles get ignored, but I digress.
Right. So all of that to say, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll see. Maybe one day there will be congressional hearings about cryptids like there are currently with aliens.
Yes.
And UAPs. So what do you have for us from New Jersey?
Something incredibly fucked up. So I will be covering something that makes your blood boil today. Mr. John List.
Ugh, I hate him so much.
Now,
like, when she said make your blood boil, she meant literally me, because this case makes me sad.
It's a tale as old as time. He was the perfect son, husband, father. He was hardworking as an accountant. His wife, his mother, and his 3 children inhabited a New Jersey mansion. Wow. It had 19 rooms, including a ballroom, marble fireplaces, and a Tiffany & Company skylight. Fucking expensive is what it sounds like.
Yeah, right?
But what a picture perfect life. Until it wasn't. Not everything is as it seems. So let's get into John Emile List. He was born in Bay City, Michigan on September 17th of 1925. He was the only child of German-American parents, John Frederick List. So he's kind of like a junior, but not really.
My husband's the same way.
Yeah. And then Alma List was his mother. Like his father, John List, sort of junior, was a devout Lutheran and Sunday school teacher. The year before his father's death in 1944, he graduated from Bay City Central High School. And in 1943, he enlisted in the United States Army and served as a laboratory technician during World War II. After his discharge in 1946, he enrolled in the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, where he earned a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in accounting. All sounds kind of promising. Yeah, he's still a piece of shit. We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just wait.
And was commissioned as a second lieutenant through the ROTC program. Now, in November 1950, as the Korean War escalated, he was recalled to active duty in the Army at Fort Eustis? Sorry, guys. In Virginia. He met a widow of an God bless America, infantry officer killed in action in Korea. I'll get there eventually, guys, I swear. Who lived nearby with her daughter, Brenda. John and Helen married on December 1st of 1951 in Baltimore, Maryland. The family moved to Northern California. The Army realized John's accounting skills and reassigned him to the financial court. So after his completion of his second tour in 1952, List worked for an accounting firm in Detroit, and then as an audit supervisor at a paper company in Kalamazoo, where his 3 children were born. By 1959, John had risen to general supervisor of the company's accounting department, but Helen kind of had a drinking problem, and she became increasingly unstable. In 1960, Brenda, the stepdaughter of John List, married and left the household, and John, with the rest of his family, moved to Rochester, New York, to take a job, and there he eventually became the director of accounting services. In 1965, he accepted a position as vice president and comptroller at a bank in Jersey City, New Jersey. And he moved his wife and his 3 children and his mother into Breeze Knoll, a 19-room Victorian mansion at 431 Hillside Avenue in Westfield. In 1971, John List lost his job at the bank, and he was just 46. Okay, that sucks.
It sucks, yeah.
You know, people get new jobs all the time. I'm sure if he was as smart as he reads on paper, he could find another job.
Right.
But it said subsequent jobs didn't pan out. He couldn't bear to tell his family about the loss of the income. So he decided, instead of, you know, being honest with his family or finding a new position to just stick it out and tough it out with or whatever, he spent his days at the train station for whatever reason. I guess he got ready for work, and he got ready for work and went to work, and I guess just chilled at the train station all day, reading the newspaper and secretly skimming money from his mother's bank account to pay the mortgage.
Oh, you know.
Because he'd rather steal from his mother, because he refused to go on welfare, as it would be excruciatingly embarrassment to him and his family and the community, and violate the principles of self-sufficiency that he had learned from his father's knee. Blech.
Y'all can't see my face, but
it's hard to believe the solution he arrived at would have been more acceptable in his father's eyes, because that's, you know, who he is trying to impress, even though the man passed away. But List would later say it seemed to him the only option. What was the only option? Oh.
Get a job.
He got a job. He went on welfare. He sold his big ass house. No. All of those are realistic things that normal people do. What did John do? One day, late in 1971, John List shot and killed his wife, Helen, his 16-year-old daughter, Patricia, his 15-year-old son, John, his 13-year-old son, Frederick, and his mother, Alma, who was 85. Yeah. So that was his solution. To murder his entire family. They were shot methodically, each one right after the other. Helen was first. Liz saw the children off to school and then shot her in the kitchen as she sipped her morning coffee. Then he went to the 3rd floor and murdered his mother in her bed. He killed Patricia when she returned home from school, then the youngest son, Frederick. Then he made himself a sandwich.
Blech.
Like a normal fucking person, you know, you murder everyone, pretty much everyone in your family, so you eat. Must really get you hungry.
Yourself.
Right? He closed out his bank accounts and waited for his last son to finish a soccer game where he cheered him on in the stands. Then he gave him a ride home and shot him in the chest.
Makes me sick. Like, honestly, my stomach right now.
Yeah. Then John laid the bodies of his family members on top of sleeping bags in the ballroom. Then composed a note to his pastor, who he felt would understand.
What
Yeah.
is that logic?
I
He'll
guess
understand.
if you confess your sins, you're free of them. I don't get it, but whatever. He feared his family, confronted with a world full of evil and poverty, would turn away from God.
Oh,
And this
fuck
was the
you.
only way to ensure their safe arrival into heaven.
Oh, what a martyr.
He, however, was not willing to suffer the earthly consequences of his actions. And in an
shit.
effort to baffle police, he cleared all evidence of the crime scene. Like, he used scissors to remove images from every photo in the mansion.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he canceled all the deliveries and contacted his children's schools to let the teachers know the family would be on vacation for a few weeks. He turned on the lights and the radio, leaving religious hymns playing in the house's empty rooms. He slept in the same fucking place where his family lay dead, and then walked out the door the next morning and wasn't seen again for 18 fucking years. 18
What?
years.
There are no words to describe what a despicable human being that is.
Now, what happened to the family, you might ask? Well, a month passed before neighbors, curious about the constant lights and the empty windows, became suspicious that something was wrong in their mansion. It was discovered that the bodies were there. Now let's fast forward 18 years to 1989. New Jersey prosecutors had come up with a plan. They had an expert forensic artist, Frank Bender, create a physical bust of John List as Bender imagined he might have aged to look like. Bender gave him a hawk nose, grizzled eyebrows, and horn-rimmed glasses. Psychologists theorized that List would wear the same spectacles, or style anyway, that he wore as a younger man to remind him of more successful days.
Gag, but also spot on.
Yeah, it was a masterful depiction of John List. When America's Most Wanted aired the story of John List and the murders he committed on May 21st, I can't read, sorry guys, in 1989, an audience of 22 million saw Frank Bender's sculpture. Tips came flooding in. One tip came from a Richmond, Virginia woman who thought her next door neighbor, Robert Clark, bore a striking resemblance to the bust. The tipper said that the neighbor was also an accountant and attended church. Police in Virginia arrested the mass murderer John List on June 1st of 1989, a mere 9 days after the America's Most Wanted episode aired.
I will say, as much as this case infuriates me, the sculpture and how it led to his arrest by being on America's Most Wanted is
next level
amazing.
Genius. Yeah. But at his trial in 1990, defense lawyers argued that he suffered from PTSD from his military service in World War II and Korea. Expert psychologists believed that he was going through a midlife crisis, and the prosecution pointed out that that was no excuse for killing 5 innocent people. And I agree.
It's what we say all the time. Plenty of people have these things wrong with them, and they don't. And and it doesn't change the fact that it was because he lost his job. That's not PTSD. PTSD from military is usually triggered by something stereotypically fireworks or somebody sneaking up on them, stuff like that. I'm sure there are other triggers.
Oh yeah.
But it's not gonna be I got fired and I'm gonna hide and lie about it and all that, and I'm
gonna go hang out at the train station because I don't want to be on welfare.
And my family can't know I lost my job. That's not PTSD.
They can't know that we're
poor,
not wealthy. Yeah. I mean, how awful to have to cook poor people food. And by the way, that's a loving term that I've coined for recipes that include nothing but canned vegetables.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We say that a lot.
Canned vegetables and pasta or rice, because
always rice.
It's so
my
cheap.
favorite poor people food from when we were broke.
Oh yeah,
was rice with salsa and sour cream.
It's so good.
Just mix it all together. And some cheese if you got it.
If you can afford the cheese. Yes,
Right?
I've been there. Tuna, like from a can, made with mayonnaise and mustard and relish and like mixed all up. And then you eat it with potato chips.
I remember you teaching me that.
It's so good. It sounds like so gross, but it's so satisfying.
Like, listen, we've been there. We've been so broke where you can't afford Hamburger Helper. You're buying the cheapest macaroni and the cheapest meat and making your own Hamburger Helper.
Yeah, no shit. Hamburger Helper's really expensive, by the way. Just a side note. Everything is, but it's weird that Hamburger Helper is so pricey nowadays. Anyways, John List was found guilty and sentenced by the judge to 5 life terms in a New Jersey prison.
Good.
In an interview with Connie Chung in 2002, he said he didn't kill himself after killing his family because, and I can't make this shit up, he felt it would prevent him from getting into heaven, and all he wanted to do was reunite with his wife, mother, and children in the afterlife where he believed there would be no pain or suffering.
Couple things here, John. One, murder. Hello.
It's in that like
It's one of the
cardinal sins.
Yeah. Also, you wouldn't have had to reunite with your wife, mother, and children if you didn't kill them. You would have still been with them.
But Lindsey, if he didn't murder them, they would have been poor, and that means you're damned to
society
to hell. And the society would know that they were poor. It's so aggravating. John List died in prison at the age of 82 in 2008. The mansion in New Jersey where John and his family lived burned down several months after the murders. Authorities never found the cause of the fire, and a new house was built on the property many years later. The memory of the murder, this is directly from a website, still haunts the Westfield residents. In a 2008 interview, parents told a reporter that New Jersey children will not walk past the property, nor do they even want to live on the same street. And it says, who can blame them? Yeah, no, I would be terrified of that too. Like, it's a weird superstition, but I would be superstitious about it.
But also, can we just talk about the fact that at the end of it all, the investigators or whoever it was, I don't remember, discovered that the Tiffany stained glass window was worth $100,000.
Oh, I didn't find that on my research. Damn.
I remembered it being talked about when the first time I ever heard about the John List story. I think it was on My Favorite Murder. Yeah, the answers to all his money problems was the fucking window in the room where he put all the bodies.
It's almost like having a not stained glass window. What is it called?
It's almost like there were all around more options than fucking murdering your family.
Whatever kind of, was it stained glass?
I thought it was. It's Tiffany's. That makes sense.
My brain is broke.
Like the Tiffany lamps or stained glass.
I can't remember what I just said like 10 minutes ago. But either way.
Yeah, it's stained glass. I just read it.
Yeah, stained glass. A stained glass anything is not more valuable than your family's lives. It's stupid.
But like the thing with family annihilators is that they don't think ahead. It's like, I don't know a single person who would rather literally die than to not have money or not have their 19-room mansion with the Tiffany window.
Right.
You know? And so, like, window even aside, he could have just sold the fucking house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Family annihilators piss me off so bad because it's always, I did it because they would have been so embarrassed.
Or
fuck you.
They're better off dead. No, actually, I bet they would disagree with you.
Right? But don't worry, we'll reunite in heaven because I didn't kill myself.
By the way, I don't believe into the stereotype that if you kill yourself, you go to hell.
I think you're much more likely to go to hell if you murder your entire family.
People. Yeah. I think like sexual assault, murder, physical assault, child abuse and neglect. Those are all things that will land you straight into hell.
But don't worry. His pastor will understand.
Yeah, I don't think his pastor did understand, though.
Right. And it's like you had mentioned earlier when you mentioned the pastor, that like he confessed so he'd be forgiven. But like, it's not even like he didn't say, I thought that the pastor would take my sin, like take my confession and like I would be forgiven. He'd understand. Like he'd do the same.
He would get it. No, actually, John,
no.
No.
God.
But
I will say the sculpture and the America's Most Wanted bit, like that is the redeeming factor of this, because it just shows how far like forensics and stuff has come. And I know that was a while ago, and so it's come even farther now. But it is nice that because we can't stop these horrible things from happening, that there's some good that can come out of it to seek justice, if that makes any sense.
And like, I know America's Most Wanted isn't a thing anymore, which is like, why not? But
I'm surprised they don't have like a Facebook page or a TikTok or something.
No shit. I mean, I thought it was like fascinating. That and Unsolved Mysteries when I was a kid, those were like my favorite shows, because even as a young person, I was obsessed with trying to figure out why.
Watching Unsolved Mysteries while you're homesick for the day, terrifying, but prime entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than what I got to watch when I was homesick, which was like a myriad of different Disney and Nickelodeon cartoons for the children my aunt babysat. And then Days of Our Lives, Passions, and Young and the Restless. Because if she had her way, she would watch Westerns, soap operas, and Jimmy Swaggart. And that's still, it's still true to this. Oh, and Hallmark movies. It's still true to this day. That's what that woman watches. Love her to death. But being sick was like, can you help me with these kids? No, I'm literally like, I got a fever. She's like, you're fine, get up. I'm like, okay. So I had to work when I was sick, so I just tried not to be sick.
I feel that.
Although I did play hooky a lot senior year. Senioritis started in like 8th grade.
Yeah, I feel that.
I don't know. I wish, like, I regret not having like the structure and stability and the love and like all the shit growing up to show me that I could have been good at school.
Right.
If I would have like fostered a love for knowledge. Like, no one ever talked to me about going to college, like things like that. So it's just kind of one of those things, like, obviously I'm going to do those things with my child, but beyond that, I feel like if I got like a do-over, aside from, you know, Jillian, like a do-over for me personally to improve my self-growth, I suppose, would just be to go back and be like an adult version of myself, shaking the shit out of a younger me, be like, learn, damn it, learn.
Like, just try.
You can do it. But anyways, I don't know how I got on that tangent. Oh, because my ADD medicine's not working. Yay.
But going back to John List, all family annihilators just piss me off. I know I already said that, but I just want to reiterate, like, all true crime is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
But family annihilators are like a whole other level of evil. Well,
Chris, in his last name Watts, like the oil guy.
Ugh, yeah.
So tell your little story about what you told your husband, because I think
so my husband works in the oil field, like Chris Watts did. Did because he's in prison now. Lindsey. God. But when all that happened, of course, like my husband's like reading the news story. He's not into true crime the same way I am.
He just likes to read news.
Right. And so he's like reading that and he's shocked because he knows the company name. Like it's like a familiar name to him and whatnot. And at the time, Forensic Files had just come on Netflix. So I'd been watching a lot of it. Or a new season or something. Somehow there was new episodes of Forensic Files. I was watching them. And he was reading that and he was just like so shocked. And I was like, yeah, speaking of that, if you ever want to just leave me, like just leave me. Don't murder me. And I will do the same for you. And he was like, what the fuck? But watching Forensic Files, I realized how many of those episodes are she had fallen in love with a new man or he had fallen in love with a new woman. And so they plotted to murder So they could live a new life.
Or they were broke, so they had to murder their family, or like,
for the insurance money, like stupid shit like
crazy.
that. And I'm like, no, like you can just leave. I hope you don't, but you can just leave.
If the options are me being single
or me being dead,
I would be single, preferably.
Right.
I would rather not be murdered.
And murdering children. It's actually like John List first made a sandwich after murdering one of his
He went and cheered on his kid's soccer game and then drove him home like nothing was wrong, knowing he murdered everyone else. And then he was like, bye.
Oh, by the way. Oh, it makes me so mad.
What the fuck?
There is nothing you could ever say to me to explain that away.
But I just want to point out, he got another job, people. And for 18 years, he managed to survive. That. He could have just tried harder.
He get remarried and everything?
I didn't see that in my notes, but I mean, probably. It wouldn't surprise me none.
He may have. Don't quote me on that, but he may have. Either way, he went and lived a normal life. Because guess what? You could move on from losing your job. Imagine that.
Yeah. You can...
Pisses me off.
Find another job.
Nothing in this world will ever be more important.
Could sell your mansion.
Like money is not... Like, I understand.
It's a necessary evil.
Right. I understand. Like, I understand everything is expensive right now. Like, this is the 70s, but you get what I'm saying, though. Like, I understand that money makes life easier. But being rich and having the 19-room mansion and all that is not more important than your wife and children and mother.
I bet he had multiple cars and shit. He could have sold some of them, or you know what I mean? Like, something.
Like literally, he could have just replaced the window in the ballroom.
Yeah.
And had $100,000. That's more than most people make in an entire year.
Yep. So to say that case is obnoxious is an understatement. In New Jersey, I'm sure you're well aware of this case. But for anyone who was not aware of this case, I hope you found it enlightening and
or if you're not aware of our opinions on family annihilators.
Right.
They are the worst.
They are the worst.
With my middle fingers up. They are the worst.
Yup. And before we get off of here, so let me shake. Can you hear it shake?
Oh, yeah. We have to draw the next one.
Can you hear it shake?
I can.
Okay. I wanted it to pick up on the recording. Let's see. Our next... Oh, I picked out two.
Uh-oh.
So, left or right? They were stuck together. Left. Okay. Our next one will be... If I could get this fucking open. Thank you, Post-it note, for doing your job, but do it a little better. There we go. South Dakota.
Ooh.
I don't know shit about South Dakota. So
Philly flares in South Dakota. That's all I know.
I hope there's not a Philly flare crime.
Oh, no, there's not. That's a good business.
It was a joke.
No, I know. I thought I'd clear the name. Also, speaking of locations and whatnot, on our last episode, I had mentioned that Canada and the Netherlands were going like neck and neck. And I posted on Instagram and Facebook, and I can't remember if it went to Twitter or not. But if you missed any of those posts, Netherlands won. Netherlands is now the number 2 country underneath of the United States listening to us. So shout out. Also, shout out to Mexico, our newest country.
Yes. I added that to
the jar.
The jar. Because, well, yeah, the vase. It's technically a flower vase, but it is what it is. Whenever you have a house full of everything and it's the first thing you find that's not being used, then you use it. So
sure.
And I mean, it does its job, so there's that. But real quick, I know you people are listening. I know it because our analytics tell us so. Mm-hmm. If you could do me the smallest of favors and if you listen on Apple or if you listen on Spotify, would you mind jumping on and leaving us a review? Whether it's just you click the stars or you feel it in your heart and feel compelled to type something out to us because we love
awesome and nice.
We love reading cool shit like from our fans. Yeah. Well, if you're mean, we'll read it. We just won't like it. But
And we will call you out on. No, I'm just joking.
no, I mean, maybe. Not really. Just kidding. But if you feel
in reality, we would probably cry.
Probably. Most definitely. I have a book review from Twisted where somebody said it was
campfire stories that Boy Scouts would tell.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still pissed about that. And that was like 4 years
pissed
ago.
About that, and it wasn't even my book.
It was like 4 years ago, and that still pisses me off. It made me cry. So yeah. We'll definitely.
I just got like
remembered.
a 2-star review with no words or whatever on exercising my mind, and I'm like, who did this? Just don't review it if you hated it.
Right. That's what I do. I mean, unless it's like I purchased something like from Amazon and it came broken or something like that, then I'll be like,
or like
it
wasn't as described or
yeah.
something. It's like, here's the thing, not everything's going to be your style.
Right.
Like, not everybody's going to want to read your book, listen to your podcast, whatever.
Nope.
You don't have to be mean about it. You can be like, it wasn't my thing.
Absolutely. But
and move on.
Yep. So if you guys wouldn't mind leaving us some reviews, or if you feel inclined, which we really are heavily suggesting you do, leave us like an email or a comment on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Like, we would love to hear from you. Like,
yes, especially if you are from South Dakota or anywhere nearby and you know shit about South Dakota. Tell us what to cover if you want us to cover something like true crime and paranormal.
Yes. Because we're going to have to go down the deep, deep Google hole just to see what to cover, because I know it's a place. I've just never been there. I don't remember hearing any other podcast talk about any.
I just picture South Dakota
so.
just being fields.
No, that's Nebraska and Kansas.
No, I know Nebraska and Kansas, but like I also picture South Dakota.
I drove through there. Like, it's just a lot of fields. But yeah, so I mean, and if you guys like the artwork that you see posted online, it's probably on a piece of merch, and that's in our link tree in the show notes and on Facebook and everywhere else.
And the link to our merch store is in the show description on every single episode.
Yeah, we have all kinds of cool options on there. Backpacks, hoodies. I think there's even like magnets or pins or something.
Magnets and stickers and buttons, and
there's all kinds of really cool stuff.
Lots of fun goodies.
And like, be nice, because I tried really hard to draw and I'm not good at it. So,
and I personally own
the drawstring backpack.
The drawstring backpack, yeah, and it's awesome. It's good quality.
Oh, and Kelsey, if you're listening from Fairy Tale Fix, we are going to send you your stuff.
Yeah.
We've been busy and we have memory problems, but this is me remembering, because we were talking about things we've got from the merch shop, and we ordered them a hoodie, and it's really nice.
And it's very high quality.
You're going to get it soon, I swear. I know you listen. So hi, Kelsey. Hi,
Abby. We love you guys.
We do. But for now, I guess we will say bye-bye. And until next time, listeners, stay spooky. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Ghosts in the Attics, Bodies in the Basement, a Fearscape Media podcast. Music by Stephen Timperley. Artwork by Laura Ramsey. Find us online at fearscapemedia.com/GABB podcast, or on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GABB podcast, or email us gabbpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you.